Hey, you're finally here. Fate was expecting you. What do you mean, I don't believe in fate? How can you not believe in fate? Fate? Well, fate is basically the idea that you were always going to see this video. You were always going to be wearing the clothes you're wearing right now on this day. You were always going to be here, and so was I. Come, this topic is rather interesting now. Come sit with me by this campfire, and we'll speak a little more. According to Oxford Languages, fate is the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power. This definition for the average person is fine if they just want to know the textbook definition. But I'm not looking for this textbook definition. I want to find a deeper, more clear understanding of fate in order to better understand how it works in the real world. I have this series that I really enjoy, or rather, it's very popular, and it really demonstrates fate really well. The series I'm referring to is JOJO's Bizarre Adventure. Now, hold on. I know. I'm just going to briefly explain it. JOJO's Bizarre Adventure is a Japanese manga written and illustrated by Hiroki Araki. The series is divided into 9, as of right now, arcs called parts. Each part has a protagonist with a sort of Joe pronunciation in the front of their name. For instance, Jotaro, Joseph, Jonathan. Even though the last one doesn't match, it just has the J and O letters, so I guess it still counts. The protagonist and assistant company adventure to defeat a bad guy who's typically doing a bad thing, using their souped-up powers. In part 1 and 2, it was literally breathing kung fu that had the power of the sun in the palm of your hand. Literally. They used this power to fight vampires. And by the way, vampires die in the sunlight in this series. I think that's for everywhere though. In part 3 to the present, everyone uses these magical ghosts conjured by their unconsciousness in physical form. They're called stands because they stand behind you. Did you get that? I could talk all day about the wacky and, dare I say, bizarre, I know, things in this show, but let's dive back into the fate aspect. Fate in JOJO is very prevalent in its story. It's described as a concrete, observable force, kind of like gravity almost. It pulls you onto a predetermined or chosen path. Anything, everything, and anyone that has ever, is doing, or will ever do anything has been predetermined since the beginning of time. This way of thinking and train of thought isn't new. This is actually based off of most religious beliefs. Some people, like Muslims for example, believe that your whole life has already been recorded and is sitting somewhere. You're simply observing the time, which is your life, so that when you're judged after death, you can't deny anything. You're probably wondering, what does magical punching ghosts from adult picture books have to do with the afterlife? Well, it's not really that simple. The thing that fleshes out this idea even more is the mindset differences between the heroes and the villains. Villains in JOJO are well aware of fate. They do everything in their power in order to control their own fate to their liking. However, fate is uncontrollable like time or gravity, which it's actually interesting because Araki gives his main antagonist the ability to control these aspects, like the ability to stop time or to skip time or to control gravity. However, heroes, on the other hand, don't think like this. Instead of changing their fate, they follow it and commit good and righteous actions. Although killing someone wouldn't be seen as righteous in certain circumstances, Every JOJO or main protagonist has had a heart of gold. Antagonists in this series seek out their own fate, to know their own fate, while protagonists don't do this and simply live their life to the best, the fullest, and the purest. Fate in real life, for most, is described like a series of events, rather than what seems like in JOJO, a seeing and breathing entity. Fate in the real world often is associated with bad things, like the only thing fate drags along with its grim shadow is loss and grief. Things like you're fated to die, or if you've lost something, you were always going to lose it. While these may be true, it isn't really what fate is. Why don't we associate fate with good things? Like if someone gets rich or famous, no one ever says they were fated for that. Why? Well, because most people think that fate is something that is fixed, like it can't be changed or moved in any way, when that's farther from the truth. Fate is fated to change. If there's anything you take away from this video today, it should be that change is possible. I don't know if you're going through anything or you're trying to do anything, but change is always possible. All it takes is an honest and good heart, along with some effort. Anyways, traveler, I'll see you off. Do take care. I'd appreciate it if you stop by another time. Goodbye.